Hey everyone, we're gonna go over the first couple of steps of setting up our self-portrait holiday ornaments. And one of the first major things is we have to find a holiday hat that you're gonna wanna use to go along with your self-portrait. So on Schoology for this week, I've provided a folder that says holiday hats, and you can scroll through those. I tried to pick out a wide variety of different ones for you to look at. But when you're happy with one of them and you know the one that you want to use, just go ahead and go save it to your camera roll so we've got that in place. Also, don't forget that I'm wanting you to get a picture of yourself that's in portrait style. So that just means, this is an example of mine, like just above the shoulders, like we only want it to really focus on your face. And make sure that it's as clear as possible. That way, it's gonna be a lot easier to outline if you're working with something that's a lot clearer. We're gonna make a custom canvas for this just because we've got a couple of different settings I'd like to switch on there. So I have provided for us a 2000 by 2000 px's pixels. If your DPI does not say 300, change that for me. And then come on over to where it says color profile, and I want you to change it to CMYK. So just dimensions, 2000 by 2000, 300 DPI, and then your max layer should say 63. If it says something a little bit different, it's okay. All right, so I'm gonna hit create. Once I have created my canvas, we're gonna go ahead and throw the circle for the back of the ornament on there. So for us to do that, we're gonna go over to that little S key where it looks like kind of almost like a little ribbon, go down to ellipse, and just draw yourself out a circle. It doesn't matter dimensions wise right now what it is, because we're gonna fit it to the canvas in a second and that can change it. Just throw any color in there so it will fill up that circle for you. This is gonna be your background color, but you can always go back and change it later. Make sure that you turn that off, because now when we go to the selection tool, we're gonna hit fit to screen, and so see how that's made it the size of the canvas for us. Just make sure that that's turned off before you go do that. All right, in my layer panel, I'm just gonna go ahead and rename that. This is gonna be my circle, which we are going to clip mask everything inside of. And I'm just gonna go ahead and lock that layer and get that out of the way. All right, I'm ready to go insert my hat image. So I'm just gonna rename this one my hat image, go on over to my wrench, go to add, go to insert a photo, click on my Santa hat, and that looks good. I'm gonna go over to my layers, just turn the opacity down a tiny bit so when I'm outlining on top of it, it's a little bit easier to see. Let's go ahead and lock this so we don't accidentally draw on that image. I'm gonna go rename this as the hat outline. And we're getting close to ready to do our line size variation on the outline. Now here is a settings feature that I want us to go change in the studio pen. Remember, the studio pen's from the inking category. If you click on the studio pen and then click on it again, it will open up the settings for the brush. The area that I want you to go check out is the taper. The reason that we're gonna adjust the taper a little bit is so you're getting a good amount of weight where it thins out, thickens in the middle, and then thins out again. So here's some of the stuff that I've changed. Where it says pressure and touch taper, I'm just hitting link the tip sizes, and see, I've just kind of moved it where it's like closer to the middle. So like for instance, if yours looks like this right now, where you're not getting a longer taper, just go ahead and move that in some. Just so it's getting a little bit more medium. I did the same thing up there. Down here, I also just turned on classic taper as well. So I'm gonna hit done. I'm gonna go change my brush because I'm ready to start doing my outline. Okay, good, I'm on hat outline. And when you're outlining your hat, whatever hat that you chose, whatever hat that you selected, try and outline as much as possible detail-wise, because then you're giving yourself one, a better outcome, a better outline, but also it's gonna make your hat look a lot more realistic using this tapered kind of pen. I love how it just does that line size variation for you. Now, that's kind of just a basic outline, right? Because this is fur and it's fuzzy, like I want to still give some emphasis that that's fur on there. So even though I'm not like really like outlining any of the pieces of the fur, I'm just trying to kind of make little marks where it looks like I am doing that type of outline. Also, any kind of like shadow work that's on your hat, please outline that kind of stuff too. Okay, so let me go check and see how it looks. So that's what my outline looks like so far. So you're gonna notice like a lot of areas where it looks a little bit thicker, and then some of my thinner areas. That's exactly what you want it to look like. You don't want it to look like just one solid flat outline. All right, we're gonna talk about doing our color fill-in and doing our shading. So I'm gonna go make my hat outline a reference layer. That way I can separate that color from that hat. If you would like to switch up and make some custom colors, like so for instance, maybe instead of red, you would like it to be a green hat, that's totally fine. If you wanna do something like that, I'm actually gonna put my color of the hat underneath my reference so it doesn't cover up that nice outlining that we just did. But if you wanna pick the exact colors that are like on the image, which I'm actually going to unlock this for a second, go turn my opacity back up, and then I'll go back and lock it just to make sure I don't do anything weird on there. You know, you can hold down where that image is at and it will make that color for you. So you've got a couple of different options for that. So I'm just gonna stick with traditional for this, make it the same color, go pick up that red that's up here at the top, and then we'll talk about how to do the shading. And then I made this a closed area, so I know I can put a little bit of dark right in there. All right, let me go turn my hat image off. All right, so that is what that is looking like so far. I've got one little piece up here that still needs to get filled in there. And okay, so let's do some shading now. I'm gonna go back and pick up that same color that I did the white on there, and then I'm gonna open up my classic area. And then you see that grayscale that's right below? I'm just gonna darken it slightly. And once I do that, and I've made it a little bit darker, I am now going to go into my brushes, go to my airbrushing. I'm on a soft blend, and I'm just gonna airbrush it right on that same layer that I did for the coloring. Now, opacity, remember when we're shading stuff, I would definitely turn my opacity maybe like halfway down. That way you can kind of control how strong it is. Size-wise, same thing. I mean, I would just kind of play around with it. Like that's on 1%, but see, that's still on 1%. It looks a little bit smaller, you know, as I go down. You're just gonna kind of have to mess around, see what sizing-wise that you're liking. So I can already tell that I'm wanting my opacity to turn up a little bit more because it's a little bit difficult for me to see some of that shading going on. All right, let's zoom out so we can check that out. All right, so that looks good. That's what I want. So I'm gonna put my shading in some of those little places that I made like a indication that that's where it's, you know, fur fuzzy on there. But then also you can shade, you know, on the edges. So you just have fun, you know, trying to figure out where it is that I would like some of this shading to go. I know I want some of it to go up here on the top. And it won't go on your outline because remember your outline's separate right now. It's on that separate reference layer. So you don't have to worry about any of the shading going on there. We didn't have to do alpha lock or anything like that. All right. So I could even put some more down there. I'm gonna go up here and do the red for you so you can see me do it one more time with something different. So I'm gonna, again, remember darken this up a little bit, and you could pull it down right there or you could just use it right there. And I think I did one little spot. All right, let me go check on this again. Okay, that's fine. All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of shading underneath this thing. And then we'll do some shading over here. So today I just want you guys to worry about your outline of your hat, and then also making sure that you're getting that picture ready for the next class period, because then that's when we're gonna go in and start doing everything for your outline of you. So today, the big thing is just make sure that you've got your circle on there, your hat image. Go ahead and make your hat outline a reference layer, and then you can go and fill that color in underneath. You could technically get rid of the hat image and delete it now if you wanted to. All right, see you guys next time.